Hi everyone, and welcome to Our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. Today our guest is Denise Wise. She is the president and CEO of the City of Ventura Housing Authority. Thank you so much for joining us, Denise. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Sandra, for the invitation.
Good.
I appreciate it.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, so let's have you get started telling us a little bit of an overview of what the Housing Authority is all about.
The Housing Authority actually went into service, if you will, in 1949, which means in 2019 we'll be celebrating our 70th anniversary.
Okay.
Public housing authorities have two primary programs. One is public housing, and the other one be what we call the HCV, or the Housing Choice Voucher Program, or better known as Section 8. We currently have in our public housing portfolio about 276 units, and in our voucher portfolio about 1,700 vouchers. We service the City of Ventura, and also we are an independent program, if you will, from the City of Ventura. So we are not an umbrella organization of the city, we are independent. We have a board of commissioners of 7 and a staff of approximately 58 folks, if you will, at the Housing Authority. We do our own property management, and we also self-develop, which means that we develop housing. Our primary mission is to provide decent, safe, and affordable housing. We're also somewhat a little out of the box, if you will, from a traditional public housing authority. And what I mean by that is we've developed other properties. We have a total of about 1,000 units in the City of Ventura. And we not only build housing, meaning shade and shelter, but we also look at it as building community. So it's not only critical to us to increase the portfolio of affordable housing, but it's also critical to us to be a part of the community in which either we're building units and or rehabbing units.
And with that said, typical problems that exist today are, of course, homelessness, seniors seeking housing, shelter, middle-class families being priced out of the marketplace, now having to look at, some sort of housing. So you've got your hands full in the Housing Authority. Where do we start in helping some of these folks out? Are there programs in place that will address this now and in the near future, or what's going to happen?
Well, I guess the way that I look at it, or the way that we look at it, is we look at it a little bit more globally. And what I mean by that is we do have the niche in the market that we fill. And our Housing Authority, for both Section 8 and for public housing, we serve primarily a very low income group. 60% of who we serve in our units, in our actual hard units that the Housing Authority has, or in our Section 8 program, are seniors and are disabled. That's who we serve. They are on a very fixed income. On average, a single senior with Social Security is about $900 a month. If you compare that to an efficiency unit here in the City of Ventura, which is $1,100 a month, they're already priced out of the market. So the way that our program works, no one pays more than 30% of their adjusted gross income towards their rent. So as an example, if a senior has, let's just say, because I work better in round numbers, let's say their income is $200 gross. There's certain number of deductions that we take, and let's say those deductions are 100. Typically it's medical. So that means that their adjusted gross is $100. Therefore, 30% would be they'd pay $30 towards their rent. Then we receive subsidy for the other 70 to make up the 100. And it's a large issue. We're not unique. The City of Ventura isn't unique in the state of California. A lot of the market, what you've just described, fits quite a few cities in the state of California. With our homeless population, one of the things that we're doing as a housing authority is we started a program called Housing Matters. And this happened about 2.5 years ago. It shouldn't have been a surprise, but it was. But we have homeless children. So what we did is we started a program working with behavioral health, working with the Human Services Agency, working with the school district, to establish a preference of housing families with minor children.
Right.
And in that scenario, and in any scenario of someone coming out of homelessness, which is strictly needed are supportive services.
Okay.
This helps the family or household to become successful in their housing.
Right.
So a supportive services component is absolutely critical.
It is, because that really enables people to get back on their feet and hopefully go back on their own should they have the ability to do so in the near future.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really important. So how do you see the demographics changing?
Well, we're getting a little older.
Right.
And so, you know, you've heard it referenced as the silver tsunami.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little older, and just by virtue of the fact that 60% of who we house and or who have vouchers are seniors, that's only growing. Okay. So one of the things we're doing is we have 2 projects in our pipeline that will bring about 100 units of senior housing add to the portfolio in the next 2.5 years.
Right.
Yet again, it's not enough.
It isn't, because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of land or space here in Ventura County to develop to create more housing, yet it's so badly needed. And many of these people are, I'm assuming, on waiting lists for a long time.
Our waiting list right now, we call it unduplicated, is 8,700 households.
Okay.
For Section 8, because we have 2 wait lists, there's a Section 8 wait list and a public housing. Section 8 wait list, we are currently on 2,008.
Okay.
And for the public housing wait list, we are currently on 2,009. So that tells you it's not moving.
Sure.
It's not moving very quickly.
Right. Yeah, because there's such a shortage especially for low income, and you know, it really is due to the fact that we've got a growing population, we've got, you know, issues to deal with, and there's not a whole lot of solutions, but hopefully your department is.
Well, and that's one of the things, we're not the silver bullet.
Yeah.
We're not the silver bullet.
Right, right.
However, one of the things we are trying to do is to work within the resources we have.
Right.
We're somewhat strangled a bit by the funding, because our programs are funded by the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay.
So if you've taken a look at the administration's budget, they're looking to cut HUD by $6 trillion, that's a T,
Wow.
$6 billion with a B dollars. And that's going to have quite an impact on our programs.
Big impact.
Big impact.
Yeah.
And also as far as building, so we're looking at that as well. There's a housing bond that's going to be on the ballot in November,
Okay.
which I think is really critical to developing more affordable housing.
Right. So people should really pay attention to that.
Yes,
That's going to be a crucial point for a lot of people.
absolutely.
So that bond really makes a difference, and we hope that that will help out.
Oh, absolutely. It'll help the community. It'll not only help us, but there are other developers similar to us that are in our community as well, so that we can continue to grow the affordable housing.
Right.
But earlier you made an excellent point, and that point is we concentrate on the fairly low income. However, in order for a city to be healthy, robust, and thrive, we need to take a look at the entire continuum of housing. So it's not only on the sector we serve, but the midpoints and even the high points, if you will, from an income perspective. Because you have to have that fluidity, that movement, so that we can have people coming in, so that employers can attract employees.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't want to live here? It's great. We've got a wonderful area that we're at.
It's a great area to live.
It's
Everybody wants to live here.
Exactly, and I feel really fortunate that I have the opportunity.
Right.
Yet by the same token, if I, as an employer, am trying to attract employees, the housing is a huge factor.
Right. Which brings me to the point of the recent Thomas fire. And how it has affected families, individuals, seniors, low income, everybody across the board. Now we're not just talking about low income or seniors. Now we've got everybody in the mix.
That's correct.
The recent Thomas fire really has created a whole new situation for housing. Can you address that really?
Sure.
Quickly?
It's one of the Thomas fire is devastating for the community. Who would have even thought this could be a possibility? However, what it did is it really compressed an already tight market.
Yes.
The market prior to the Thomas fire was vacancy rate in the rental market was under 2%. Now it is tightened up even more so.
Yes.
A couple of anecdotes about the Thomas Fire, and we had two couples, seniors, 80 and late 70s,
Okay.
who lost their home. They didn't have insurance.
Yeah, that's very sad.
And that really kind of tugged at my heartstrings. And from their perspective, it was like, well, we didn't have a mortgage.
Right, right.
So we
So
have
who would think that you would need it?
Who would have thought?
Especially, you know, at that stage of the game.
Exactly.
Right.
And so we're working with those particular households because now they've become eligible for our programs.
Okay.
In senior housing. We're also working with a family two families, one single female-headed household with a under 5-year-old child who was living on a property.
Okay.
And it burned.
Okay.
Another family of 5, they were living in a barn and it burned.
Yeah, that's just heartbreaking.
And so we are working with those families to house them. So it's already tightened the market even tighter, and it's something that creates an opportunity.
Right.
That's how I look at this. This is, through this devastation, there's an opportunity, and that opportunity is to be able to address our housing needs. There was a recent, or not recent, there's something called the Regional Housing Needs Assessment, or it's short RHNA.
Okay.
That assessment said that through all the income sectors, from very low income to above moderate, we're short 3,700 units. Now, that only grows.
Right.
It doesn't get...
It's not going to get any lower than that.
It's not going to, no, it's not going to, no.
Right.
Because we're not replacing them and or adding to the income sector, or excuse me, adding to the household or to the units.
Okay.
And so we need to pay attention to that. And locally, we need to pay attention to developments that are coming on board, you know, multifamily developments for rentals, any type of for sale. And the city, I know, is starting to work on an inclusionary housing component.
Okay.
But that's a way to increase the, if you will, the affordable housing, not by leaps and bounds, but
it's a start.
It's a start.
And at least you can, you know, find maybe a solution at the end of the tunnel here. I mean, you know, at least, you know, this may take years in the making, but at least we have to begin somewhere.
And we have to be progressive about it.
Right.
You know, there's a couple of factors out there. There's those that I've got mine. So I bought my house. I'm good.
Right.
And then there's those that are trying to get into the market.
Sure. But today, if a young couple is trying to buy a home, you're looking at 20% down. It's over $100,000 for many places now for sale, especially here in Ventura County. I mean, come on, it's going to be very difficult for many people to afford that.
Agreed. And the segment of the population that I look towards, as far as whether or not we're making progress, are our school teachers, are our first responders.
Yes.
If their salaries, can their salaries get them into a house, to buy a house?
Right.
And I think overall, housing is so elementary to who we are. It's a place to call home. It's a place to be safe. It's a place to get started. And, you know, a young family starting out or a school teacher, why can't they buy a home?
Right. And they should be able to.
And they should be able to buy a home.
They should. Denise, if you could share with us the website for folks that would be interested in getting more information on the Housing Authority and how maybe they could gain some more information about what they need.
Certainly.
That would really help.
City, Ventura.org.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so very much, Denise Wise, CEO of the Housing Authority here in Ventura. We are so pleased that you shared some of this information for so many folks out there that need it.
Well, and I appreciate the invitation, and this is the start of a dialogue.
Great.
This is the start of a community dialogue, so thank you for having the insight.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank all of you for joining us today on Our Ventura TV. We look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Sandra Siepak. Bye, everyone.